Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, and welcome to this new video here on Ethereum. I'm going to do a full update. We'll talk about the technicals. We'll talk about some fundamentals. I mean, usually what I do on Sunday in my Bitcoin video, which to me is always a bit of a market update, right? Because Bitcoin very much dictates what the market does to a certain extent as well, is I take a look at next week fundamentally and what to be prepared for. And I thought I'd do that in this Ethereum video as well. So that's what we'll start off with, but then we'll talk about the technicals and we'll talk about everything you need to know. I mean, the fundamental situation right now in the markets is quite tense, right? So there's obviously on Friday it ended on a tense note. And there hasn't really been, as far as I know, any major resolution in that. And if that doesn't come, if we don't see a de-escalation between the US and the EU, I've already said this in all of my videos this morning already, but that would be major, right? I mean, because ultimately we saw what happened between China and the US and what that did to the markets. And, well, let me tell you, the trade between the US and the EU is much bigger, right? So that could potentially have even worse effects. But the hope is that there will be de-escalation, and that's also what I would think will happen. But still, something to be aware of, and that also makes it more risky. Talking about next week. Next week we have major economic data from Wednesday till Friday. All right, so keep an eye on the channel if you want to be updated on what's coming and what it means. Wednesday we have FOMC minutes, monetary policy shenanigans. Thursday we have initial jobless claims data, GDP data, also important. And Friday we have PCE price index, all right, which is basically inflation rate data, also important. So I'll be doing some live streams for sure. But that's it for next week. So be aware of that, and I'll keep you updated on that as well. Talking about Ethereum right now, obviously after the news Friday we failed the breakout attempt. This is also already something we spoke about before, right? My apologies. Drop down below the POC, and now we're dropping down into the bottom of the range, right? So that's right here, between 2425 into the value area low at 2460. Not bad, all right? This is just Ethereum moving within the range, and ultimately, if you have a range, all right. So I would say like the main resistance level is quite clear. That's the value area high right here at 2600, 2610. And then the main support level is relatively clear as well. It's a bit ambiguous because we have dropped down lower and you have a very strong support level. Like the thing is that the main support level for Ethereum is right here at 2450. I would say it would be standard that that's going to hold, right? Normally when you have a market structure in place, which we very much do have, this is the 4-hour time frame, normally it holds. Right now, with the current fundamentals, though, I would say it changes up a little bit. However, do I still think that Ethereum will bounce after the fundamentals? Yes. On the higher time frames, we have a strong uptrend. All right. Here we're looking at a 12-hour time frame. Here we're looking at a daily time frame. However, what I do want to warn you for, and first of all, I think it's most likely for Ethereum that we'll be able to hold the support level right here. But that is mostly based upon the assumption that the trade deal between the US and the EU will still come there. Will still come, right? And that de-escalation will happen. Then I think we'll just bounce from support right here, and we'll bounce back up to this fair value gap we also left at 2610. However, what I think you need to be aware of and what I think you need to be prepared for, so this is what I think is most likely, in the event that we do see more escalation, or if we do not see any de-escalation throughout the week, I think we can drop down lower. And then I'm looking at mostly, and that's also on the higher time frames, quite a respected level. I'm mostly looking at this level right here around 2300, 2250, where on the daily time frame we have the trend, right? That's sitting at around 2200. But then we also have the 30-day rolling VWAP. We have the 200 EMA here on the 12-hour time frame. We have the 0.5 fib. And if push comes to shove and we spike down much lower, you also have a ton of liquidity down here towards 2100, right? So be prepared for that, all right? We could see something like this, major spike down, support, and then a slow grind back up within the range, because ultimately getting back into that range, getting back into that balance, I do expect, but the fundamentals can make it quite volatile in the short term. So as long as you're prepared for that, as long as you know that, you're going to be fine. Like I said, given my thoughts of the fundamentals, I would say it's a little bit more likely we'll be able to just hold support here, or not here, but a little bit lower, the normal support around 2400, 2420, and bounce back up from there. But yeah, I think that's what you need to know. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.